10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. LFY's
Silencer.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. LFY's success.
Jump
for potentially millions of dollars. It's not a big deal. You know, everyone always says it's not about the money, Owen.
Oh, it is, Will. That's the only reason I'm here. If it wasn't, I'd cast some other inexplicable...
What do you want to... You want to do like Clash Royale or something?
Oh, goodness, no. No, save me now. Dota or bust, Will.
Dota or bust.
Dota or bust.
So it's not about the money.
Well, I didn't know.
It's about the dotes.
Gaben, he's given me 10% of this year's Battle Pass earnings.
That's it?
Yeah, that's
Dude,
it.
you have a bad agent.
You know.
As soon as I got Bulldog kicked out, I asked for 40
You asked for
even.
a share.
Yeah.
Step it up. There we go.
Oh.
Oh, there we are.
That's a Sven.
Yeah, this hero, I have decided, is actually amazing.
So has apparently Digital Chaos.
So a lot of teams, to be fair. I've seen so much Sven. I think I've seen 4 Sven games today that I've casted. It's all there. I mean, it's like an anti-mage, but better. It's like a Luna, but not irrelevant. It's
It's like Luna, but not.
Yeah. It's got a built-in better than a Battle Fury. I mean, sure you don't get the damage, but it's better cleave, isn't it? More cleave damage.
I will say that I think that DC values this hero a lot higher than most people do.
Okay.
It does have a very good win rate so far, and it is the hero that they beat OG with. So
Oh,
obviously,
really? They have that in that game, do they?
Yeah,
Ah.
exactly. So if you beat OG, you're thinking to yourself, wow, this hero, there might be something to it. Warcry is an incredible ability, more than anything. And it shuts down a lot of heroes. Like, for example, Drow strats. Like, imagine playing Drow against a Sven.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you can.
You hit him like 100 times, it does no damage.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy walk in the park. I mean, are you that confident then if you're DC and you're grabbing this Sven that you don't even bother banning the Drow? Or are you still sort of tempted to take it out?
No, because you can still take Bat Rider, and they haven't banned Bat. And
No,
Bat
you
Rider
ban
is...
Bat yourself now.
That was the kind of confusing thing for me.
Okay. You didn't think they'd do that? You think they'd leave it in?
I thought that they'd leave it in, because if you leave the Bat Rider and then you take away the possibility to go for the Drow, and if LGD, FY ban the Bat, then it lends a little bit more credence to the idea that they could go for it.
Well.
There is a hero, by the way, that hasn't been picked.
Well, at all, you mean?
Yeah, and DC, they could do it.
Which one? The Warlock?
The Meeps.
Or the Meep? I got banned though.
That's true.
They
First,
take it out.
the first
I don't
two.
Yeah, that's a bit of respect from that fight. Because I was actually looking as well, because I casted some DC earlier, and Execration banned out the Meepo, and I was like, Fogged, is this something that everyone is doing because it's Arbed? And not that many teams are actually banning out Meepo.
They're not.
DC.
That's why I'm...
Yeah, so most of the time they do have the chance to
Yeah,
grab
most
it.
of the time, that normally when you look at bans, that's confusing. No one uses... It's like they had the opportunity. I saw their previous games. It would have been a decent Meepo game, but they're still not taking it, so it's surprising that they decided to ban it. But Boba's really confident in Abed Meepo. He said...
Is he? He does believe
Yeah, even when we were around and Planet Odd was okay, they were like, no, we have the best Meepo player in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Abed is pretty crazy. Beastmaster. One that I've personally not seen a lot in the games that I've casted. I know it has been picked already, of course, in this group stage a few times. And
It just got picked in our last game.
oh, did you? Did it win?
No, it lost
Didn't
horribly.
win. Oh.
Like, it was super one-sided.
I mean, I'm not surprised it's coming back, especially with teams starting to believe in the Necro book again. You know, the fact that you have this hero that's very good at farming it and good at utilizing it, and great against the Sven, having that hard lockdown through the BKB, putting him at a halt when he pops the God Strength, make sure that he wastes
Plus the
that
boars.
Yeah, or the boars.
You want a kite.
Yeah.
So DC, they picked their dual lane mid because, let's be real, they're going to dual lane for op and mid. This is just Bulba's life now. He's like the servant to a 16-year-old. And I will say, by the way, there's something interesting about LFY strategy, because oftentimes they'll take their mid in the first 4, but they know that DC prioritizes Abed so heavily that this is one of the few times that I've seen LFY hold on to it in terms of draft.
And what do you think that is, just out of respect for Abed?
Yes, definitely. Because you know, everyone knows. Oh, and everyone, even people's parents watching, that Bulba is going to camp mid with that Sand King.
Yeah,
I've never been more certain of anything in my life. And if I'm wrong, then then everything I know about this team is just horribly off.
Well, there's the enigma. So DC have got their hands on this a few times over there, filling the games that they've been playing, and definitely a strong one to grab. I mean, you're looking at the lineup of LGD FY. They have 3 melee. They do have relatively good ways of stopping the black hole. I mean, with the familiars getting them in position behind him. You've got the Roar as well with pretty good range. So not necessarily the easiest black hole, but obviously you're not picking Enigma just for the black hole. There's so much more that this hero can do.
It's not just that, but it kind of mainly is for DC. Because
you think that's the only reason why they're picking it here?
The big thing is that they already have a silencer, and I know that DC especially, and NA teams in general, they really like having a guaranteed win condition. I know I oversay that term, but in this case it's really true, because Enigma is one of those heroes where if X, Y, and Z go wrong, you always have Enigma as your fallback, because you'll get a black hole off. It enables a lot more plays too.
10 seconds remaining.
But for Eva Enigma, I've seen some whiffed black holes, but Bulba, he's doing the right thing. He's not giving up on the hero, and there's no real way for them to cancel the black hole once he gets like BKB Lincolns.
Sure, yeah. At that point, absolutely. Well, at least considering the 4 heroes we've got so far from LFY, they do still have that final pick.
They banned DP, by the way. That's a smart move by I think they should ban the Medusa as well.
Yeah, that's true. That would be
That's exactly what they do.
Look at that. Yeah, you couldn't have said that any better, Will.
So they take the Queen of Pain. So now it's a Sand King Queen of Pain mid. So you need a hero that does reasonably okay, and that hero would be DP or Medusa, but both have been banned out. So maybe you take something like Razor.
Yeah, Razor would. Yeah, I like that. I like these suggestions, Will.
Yeah.
There's a Sven. Yeah, do it. It's going to be great for the fight.
Razor or Viper. Those are the 2 that I would go with. But then you don't have a black hole canceller, but you're probably still fine.
But then who is left that could cancel the black hole? That's a strong, independent mid.
There's not a whole lot of options, honestly. It gets awkward, especially if that's like your only intention in the game. They played Sniper the other day too, but I thought they were going to take Razor or Viper if there's any 2 heroes that they were going to grab. We measured it out though. Like I was talking to somebody, we were thinking of all the picks that LFI do that make them what they are, and we noticed that Dusa and DP over and over again were their 2 heroes. But so I will say Razor or Viper. Razor was my first inclination, but they've got time to decide. They need a tower hitter more than anything, so no matter what, they need a range hero that ends the game before this Enigma can just delay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've got decent push anyway with the Beastmaster in their lineup. You know, that turns everyone into a bit of a sieger.
Yeah.
With that very tasty passive. But all right, some
Select
extra range capability. Don't random an Alchemist, boys. No, they won't. They'll pick it up. It's going to be the DK, and
that is...
He's going to suffer in the mid, isn't he?
He's really going to suffer in the mid. That is...
Oh.
Quite the decision.
I mean, it certainly gives you that push that you were saying that you were hoping them to pick up.
They do need something to hit towers, but...
They've got it there.
I guess it's one thing or another, because if they take the Razor... to be fair, Razor doesn't do the best at hitting towers. That's why he has that Ags upgrade that Ice Star gave him. But at the same time, he has a much better laning phase than this enables anyways.
Yeah, this could get a bit rough. I mean, obviously looking at LFY's lineup, Do you expect them to sit like DDC mid to try and counteract the
You're
duo?
gonna have to, because I think in a pure 1v1 matchup, Queen of Pain versus DK does okay-ish. That was actually the first matchup I played when I was in Korea for Zephyr.
Well,
it was
you were playing the co-op?
I was playing the DK
were playing the
against
DK?
Jimmy Demon Ho.
Ah, and how did it go in a straight 1v1?
It was fine.
It was fine.
But
You never a kind of threat of
I was
being
like-
killed.
Because you're not really too worried. He's one of the better melee heroes at surviving the lane, because you get a poor man shield and you have the armor, so it's okay. And that was before the change to his Breathe Fire. If you remember, now it does the negative, or the minus
Yeah, it
minus
takes your
damage.
damage down, doesn't it? Yeah.
Alright, let's do it up, Owen. Let's give these
I'm
people...
excited for these. I mean, as I said, LFY, they're so far unstoppable. But I really feel if there was ever a team to slip them up, you know, considering, you know,
If there's ever a team... Not OG, but it's gonna
not
be...
OG.
It's our boy
not any of
Bulbs.
these big Digital Chaos.
Digital Chaos.
They are the LFY kryptonite.
They're gonna be... You know, I will say in terms of draft, I think this is the game. If there's gonna be a game, it's this game.
Let's see. If
Look at this respect. Abed God.
They are respecting the Abed.
They know.
I mean, he is pretty amazing. There's no doubt about that. And on the Queen of Pain, definitely a hero. You know, you get kind of these heroes that high level players play, and it feels like just the potential of the hero kind of caps out. You know, they can't show their full flair on it. But something like a Queen of Pain, there's just so much you can do with that if you're above and beyond the level of other players in the game. And Abed, Mr. 10K.
30 seconds to battle.
Any Dubus here? Just one Dubu.
I'll tell you what, Dubu, yeah, that was right. That's what Dubu earlier played Silencer, I believe, in both games against Execration, and his global silences, I've got to say, it's been some of the best that I've seen here. He is absolutely brilliant.
Did they pick Bat with it, by the way? By any chance?
I can't remember. I think they may have. I don't know. But definitely we had a couple of global silencer games, and as I say, both were pretty one-sided. DC looking hot, but here we have to start with Mason taking a bit of a beating. He'll stun the boar along with the master, hold them back, and we'll still be able to grab the bounty rune despite LFY's efforts there to contest it.
So I thought that Bulba would start in this mid lane. I was so certain about it, but it looks like he's veering towards this bottom lane. Feels like he can make something happen here. It is just the Visage and an Ursa.
Yeah, I mean, as you said as well, in a 1v1, I mean, Abed doesn't need any help. I mean, sure, the presence would be nice if you want to totally crush the DK, but it's a lane where both are going to farm. Perhaps Bulba just does feel that it's more of a threat letting this Ursa getting a free lane. And with DDC here, of course, as well, it wouldn't be too nice for Rev on his solo once the Visage gets a couple of levels. It's going to be quite nasty to lane against.
I like this, by the way. They always send the offlaner, and look what he does. Offfood just going to pull the side lane out. This is how they often gain advantage, and they create some space for Inflame.
See how Mason and Dubu react to this. I'm going to come in and try and get a bit of harassment down as at Arfu, but a quick stun holds the two of them back.
Yeah. There's a stack here for this Sven eventually.
And that's definitely something that DC have all the potential of clearing in comparison to LFY, who don't really have any way of bringing down any sort of stacks or utilize any stacking in the jungle. I guess obviously once the 6s there on Super, but not necessarily what you want to be using that Elder Dragon form for. They're going to be wanting to look for structures. Bottom lane, Bulba being gone on a little bit. The Malefice is there onto Monet though. Holds him back, keeps Bulba safe. At the moment, I mean, do you think anyone's particularly happier than the other side with the laning situation?
I would say LFI for sure.
Yeah,
Just because this top lane is going so well.
I
And
was going to say, this is looking to be on the verge of first blood. I mean, Mason's manning up onto Arfu, and in fact, he'll claim it just before LFY get it. So, Mason, I mean, that 1v1 trade, I think you take it if you're DC, don't you? Getting their first blood, getting Mason involved like that.
But it's a -2.
True. That is true. Never forget the -2.
-2.
+2 on Dubu. He's a smart man. Got a lot of intel earlier today.
One Dubu gets +2.
CS though in this top lane, 7 for 1, certainly being slowed down a bit, but I guess that is expected with a Beastmaster and his board. Well, in fact, Inflame. It's just not going to commit there. Mason, he did have a Mango, but not wanting to go in with the Stormhammer. Probably not confident in having quite enough damage to finish off Inflame. Mid lane. Pressure being put
Super
on
is going insane.
Yeah, this CS is just off the charts, doubling that of our bed. I mean, as you said, you expected, if anything, the Quap to have maybe a slightly easier time, or as you said, pretty even, but to have this sort of a lead.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is that I thought that Bulbo was going to be there, doing some kind of dual lane shenanigans, as Abed is now out of mana.
Yeah.
Even going to get stunned up.
He's in trouble. Dragon Tail, the right clicks were super. I mean, they do lose the Nyx Assassin. Fairy Fire will keep Abed alive.
If they get both kills for this,
Bulba.
he even
His
salves
presence, yeah, they're going to get it. He's trying to bottle
the
up.
assassin himself.
He's absolutely... I mean, as you said, you wanted to see Bulba mid. Bulba said, I'll come mid, Blitz, when it's needed.
When it's time.
When it's time. And getting involved in both of that, keeping Abed alive, I mean, that rotation couldn't have been any better.
If you dive him, he will come.
Yeah, they did get pretty greedy with that dive. There's no doubt about that.
Pretty greedy.
Very.
They were diving a tier 2 tower.
With Bulba within range, and you don't do that.
Do they not know who they're playing against?
I don't know, maybe the name tags aren't working.
Do they not know that that is Bulba?
Test?
Because I feel like if they did know, they would know that he was going to show up at some point.
I mean, Bulba's everywhere. You can't blame him. Bottom lane. How's the CS looking for Monet? Yeah, he's absolutely on par with Mason, so both safe laners in the same place. Obviously, both heroes with very different ways of playing. In fact, mid lane again. Abed, this time, can he escape the neutral deny? Arfu gives up. He says, okay, the neutrals win. He doesn't even go in and try and take it.
That should have been a kill. And on top of that, it was the raindrops that allowed him to survive through that.
Yeah, that looked a bit awkward. I mean, maybe LFY want to give DC a bit of a head start, give him a chance.
Yeah, just an awkward situation overall. Not really certain what was supposed to go down there.
Probably just lag. We'll let it down to lag. Yeah, cover it up for Mr. Arfu. Top lane, he's come back up. How's Inflame doing? Inflame's getting a lot out of this lane on the off lane. Much more than of Forev, which I guess is no surprise at all, being on this Beastmaster. It's nearly got level 6, so certainly has the potential of setting up something on this top lane for LFY.
Probably going to wait, though. I don't know if you immediately hit 6 and you make some kind of rotation. Like, it's not as necessary to do something at this kind of speed. Like, you're more welcome to just chill as a Beastmaster. Don't really have to force things. You steal this mini stack. That's a good first step with the next
mid lane. Guess who's here? Bulba with his buddy Dubu, ready to go on to Super, and that should be a +2, and indeed it is. The Sonic Wave flies through, clips TDC as well. Digital Chaos opening up with some tip-top rotations.
And LFY, I mean, they knew it. In the beginning of the game, they say, Abed God, they're commenting. They know that this kind of treatment is going to happen. That's what we call it, the treatment. He's getting the treatment. Just going to get dual lane, tri-lane in this mid lane. But they still don't seem to be respecting it very much. And Super's going to pop the dragon form. And the reason for this, of course, is wants to try to push out this lane, make things difficult. But he wasn't able to protect his meat wagon. So it's not going to even lead to a push or anything. It's just going to be a trade for CS more than anything.
Yeah, and in terms of CS, he does still maintain quite the lead against Abed. We saw him get this earlier, and it's not turned around.
It's huge. But in terms of net worth, just barely a difference. Honestly, they're both pretty poor.
Again, Bulba coming back in. The Shadow Strike from Abed, slowing Super down, but Bulba it's not going to go too crazy. Just using his presence, his aura, in the lane to keep Super on his toes. And he's actually now coming through the jungle. We'll see if he can make it down towards the bottom. Potentially Monet is level 6, so it is a hard gank to make. Has that level 6 and Enrage ready to go. Forev himself, not quite hitting the 6 yet on Enigma. LFY moving both their supports, DDC and Arfu, up towards the top lane. I think they're aware of these movements from Digital Chaos.
Oh, and Bulba at bottom.
Oh, is he going to do it?
He senses it. They're going to send the Eidolon in, and Monet's actually going to run into him. He has that ultimate up, though, on the Ursa.
Can't really go too hard in, and Bulba gets punished. The end of Bulba's reign. No messing around from Inflame. Knows that's the high-value kill this game, and he'll take it.
It was a strong reign, though. He did get a lot accomplished on the map. He's barely behind his Queen of Pain in net worth, which probably says more about the Queen of Pain than it does about the Sand King.
Yeah, I mean, are you a little surprised that
mid lane?
Oh, he's out of mana, but Arfu He doesn't quite want to go in there with the stun. Maybe felt that Super couldn't have got there in time to hit the follow Dragon Tail. So Abed, his life will be spared.
Still, this Nyx Assassin, they're reversing things a little bit. Really making sure that this DK wins, and this DK is definitely winning.
Yes, the farm is looking fantastic for Super. No doubt about that. Going for those treads. Mason, how's he looking? Level 6, nearly 7. Standard stuff from him as well. Treads into the Mask of Madness. We'll see if he opts for either the Blink or the Echo Saber this game.
Yeah.
That's his next one.
Nyx Assassin is invised up. He's going to spot this Queen of Pain, who's actually going to go the long way around. Doesn't really want to mess with anything. Bulba, though, going to show himself mid. Looks like they want to go for some kind of play, but Abed, of course, still has the raindrops available to him and has more than enough mana to escape if anything happens. As they're going to rotate even more heroes in. Yeah. Here comes Dubu.
They don't expect the invis Nyx. That's the thing. So DC do have to be careful how they commit on this. As you can see, Super wanting to go forward.
They really want to defend this mid tower. This mid tower is going to be the key for DC, especially if they can stop a Dragon Knight from taking it.
Oh, in fact, wait, there, they got vision on him. The sentry down, they play the bait perfectly. DC jump forward, they take one. Super holds back Abed with the Dragon Tail. They won't quite get the DK. Maybe they can get something else. Burrow Strike onto Windflame. He's rotated in. He does have the Roar. He'd love to use it on Bulba. Shouts in his Luggles again. And now with the wraparound from Super on the high ground, they'll take Bulba down.
Still, very good bait on that sentry ward. DC absolutely knew what was going on the entire time. They're going to save their mid tower too. Quite big for them. And on top of that, Mason is going to continue to farm out this top area. Push it in, get some free farm, and it's making him pay already. He's already at the top of the net worth chart. This Ursa, on the other hand, a lot of creeps denied his way. This is Enigma doing a very good job so far. Forev, he is really farmed. Almost has that Midas already with the Arcane Boots. Typically, we see Enigmas get hurt a little bit more than this. He's already taken this bottom tower, going to rotate up as well.
What's the build beam from Forev's Enigma? Does he get with the Midas, then the Blink BKB?
Midas, Blink, BKB.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably go for a Lincoln's at some point, maybe Shadowblade.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends how he wants to play it in terms of waiting for the Roar or coming in with the counterplay. Top lane. Flame, backed up by Arfu, as we're seeing fairly tanky indeed on this Beastmaster with the medallion, the headdress, the poor man's, and that infused raindrop. Can certainly bully around the members of Digital Chaos. Has the Roar back up in a couple of seconds. They're eyeing up Mason.
They're gonna go for it. He's Warcried though.
Yeah, I mean he's popped the Roar, but there was nothing after that.
It looked like it healed him when then it dealt damage. He just Warcried, walked away.
Just saying his dominance, you know, getting the space in the lane, I guess.
No, that's very good. If you force the Warcry out like that, or if you force the Roar out like that.
Force the Warcry.
If you force the it's worth it. For that 22-second cooldown.
Then they're bringing in Monet. He's like, Warcry's down. Let's go, boys.
It's back up.
There we go.
They should be able to kill Dubu though.
Yeah, the familiars are on him. Arfu has the stun if he needs it. Doesn't look like he does. Monet comes in for the kill secure.
Look at this bottom tower though.
That's a lot of split push. Forev getting a fair bit of damage onto this tier 2.
And meanwhile mid at the same time.
And Mason's shoving the lane in, using the God Strength and the Mask of Madness. Super will chase Bulba off this bottom lane, but Forev, he's going to stick there, continue pushing. So LFY, they get a silencer, they get a tower, but at the same time they lose their mid tier 1, and indeed, as you say, they nearly lose that bottom tier 2 as well. Very low on the health.
Remember, there's a Dragon Knight on the other team who typically likes to push out this mid lane as fast as he can so that he can continue to pressure the side lanes, but in fact it's the reverse that's happening. Very good play by DC, playing very proactive instead of reactive. Losing Dubu in exchange for taking all that damage on that full HP tier 2 tower bottom and taking that mid tower. That mid tower is going to be what allows them to protect that Roshan a lot easier too. Yeah. It makes it harder for LFY to defend against the smoke ganks. Typically what ends up happening, Owen, is when you take that entire bottom side and you take this mid tower, you've got the entire jungle open and all of a sudden Radiant loses half of the map in the game.
I love this as well from Mason. Going for that Blink Dagger. I really feel this is just the optimal build. Mask of Madness into Blink is so beautiful for your farm. Instead of going for like the Echo Saber, or yeah, indeed the S and Y after the Mask of Madness. Blink is just so good. You know, you get the Blink, he's literally an anti-mage, but better now. He doesn't need no Battle Fury. He's got the passive skill. He is being focused though. They're coming in with the gank. There's the Warcry Global as well. Perfectly done. I told you got to watch this Dubu with his globals. He knows how to do them.
They want to find something too.
They're coming back in. Bulba, can he close the gap? Forever, all it takes is a Malefice and they'll be able to get themselves in there. Great micro there from Inflame with the ball slow, but Forever says your boar is now mine. Now the turnaround there with a Roar, they'll take down one. That's the Enigma out.
You don't want to go for this Dragon Knight either. He's quite tanky, 1500 HP and 9 stick charges. They really wanted to get something after after they committed that global, but still way too much of an overextension. Super's going to run into the silencer, just back out, and all they want to do is secure this Roshan. Of course, they don't have this mere tier 1 tower, so there's nothing really for this Nyx to go to.
DC can't stop this by the looks of it. It's falling far too quick with Monet getting his hands on it. Arbet's in the neighborhood, does have an invis room, but it's too late. Monet grabs it, and in fact, now they're looking to fight. Dragon Tail onto Mason. They're going to chase forward. On the back of it all, Arbet will throw out the Sonic Wave.
Deals no damage.
It really didn't. So LFY, get Roshan, get out of there.
It kills the courier though.
Okay.
So it's not that they lost nothing. They lost the courier.
They lost the courier. They lost their furry little friend.
Chicken friend dies. Rest in peace. Gone but never forgotten.
But still, this is, you know, this is LFY starting to hit their stride, doing what they need to do. Getting the Aegis, utilizing Monet's Ursa. He's got the phase, has the Vlad, halfway towards the Blink Dagger. Big farm for Mason though.
You really want to take this mid tower though, if you're LFI. You wanted to be the first person to strike anyways. The crazy part though is just how tanky their team is. Because of how much farm this Beastmaster was able to get out of that top wave.
Yeah, he's got
Medallion.
How much money he's got.
He's got 2,700 gold. I didn't even realize he was that farmed. I knew he was farmed, but
yeah,
that's taking it to another level.
I mean, I nearly T-toured that, and probably for Forev's sake, he would have preferred that I did. I think that was the shortest black hole I've seen in a while. Instantly cancel cast it, and he is going to pay for his sins as LFY clean him up. I'm not quite sure what happened down there, but it was not the way that Digital Chaos wanted to play that, as now they're in threat of losing another tower. I mean, LFY, they're grouping up, they're getting ready to go, and maybe the pressure's a little too much for DC. I mean, Mason does pick up the bit link. If they can keep the game going, this Sven can get to some amazing place. But with the pressure that LFY are putting on with this full Solar Crest now picked up on Inflame, it's getting pretty scary.
This is incredibly fast, and if you look at DC's lineup, this Sven does not like going against the Solar Crest, especially at this speed. The 20% evasion and 10 armor. What is this Sven supposed to do when he blinks in, even when he gets in there? They have a lot of different control for him. He can't burst down any of the cores. The Ursa, of course, can just pop the ultimate. They've got the Beastmaster Roar to control him up. If you look at LFI's team, they're just so hard to kill. You've got Gravekeeper's Cloak on the Visage. You can always pop the Spiked Carapace on this Nyx Assassin. Dragon Knight, of course, naturally tanky. Ursa has his ultimate, and this Beastmaster's got the Solar Crest. So, of course, Abed, when he goes in, ults wasn't even to try to harm them. He's like, this isn't going to do anything. He does get the courier, but in terms of raw damage, DC just need a lot of farm before they take any sort of engagements.
They need at least the BKB on Mason. But even then, as was said, there's a lot of ways still to deal with this Sven. From the lineup of LFY, bottom lane, Forev in trouble, straight up with the Raw. Look at those familiars go to work. Now Mason, can he do anything in return?
This is a Solar Crested Beastmaster,
He's looking
remember?
for it. It's such a tanky man. I mean, surely they get it with the curse ticking down, and indeed, with Arbet jumping forward, they will kill him, but you saw how much it took.
And Bulba, he's going to get run into. This Ursa does have Blink Dagger and the Aegis, but the rest of the team isn't quite here yet, and Afu, they know he's up there. He's spotted by the ward. He's going to try to get out of here. 5 seconds until his ulti.
Yeah, it should be fine, unless they're prepared with detection.
They actually want to go for it.
They just turn and take him.
Despite the fact that they knew that he was there, still leads to a kill in favor of LFI, and LFI, this is exactly why they're the top seed in this group. They play so fast.
They really are. They have stepped up the speed.
Meanwhile, look at top. While this happens, it's also simultaneous.
Can they kill this? They have got the vision on him. Beautifully done with the stun. They'll take him. Nice read from DC. They spot the Nyx Assassin coming down from the north, set up in the lane and get it.
He's saying to them, guys, we can't just give up this tower. It's a tier 2 tower that completely won the uncontested.
Yeah, they're not going to have a decision in this. It's already gone. LFY.
There's no rebuttal plays is the problem for DC. Because they already pushed that bottom tier 2 tower, that's essentially an empty tower for free. Yes, they kill Afu, but he distracts them long enough.
Now Mason really needs to continue to find his farm. He is still top of the net worth board, but It's just the fact it really feels like this is a game, even though, you know, 4-on-2 is not bad, it's just the pace of this game in terms of kills compared to the pace that LFY can force in terms of taking objectives, it's just not going quite out. DC1 and Bulba.
There's
indeed,
one bird.
It's maybe all that they need. One connection. Down goes the sentry. They'll chase Bulba down. Can he escape? Not with the soul assumption coming in like that. And Bulba is gone.
That almost cost them more than it. They've dropped a ward for that too.
Yeah, not the opportune position, but and it's at least it's not totally
Oh,
useless.
gonna get spotted here too. There's a Shadow Blade though on Super. He has no idea. Afu still got the stun.
Yeah, this sort of lockdown. Chain stuns from LFY. Nothing that Arbe can do in reaction.
They need to stop going in their jungle, Owen. That is the death trap.
It really is. As you can see from the serious wards and the panic wards, there's full control from LFY. They do lose the Aegis, but they're about to clean up another tier 2. We're just 18 minutes in. And LFY has not had the chance to see them in some of these performances, but they are showing me why these guys are in the spot that they are, not dropping a game so far. It's just pretty perfect. I mean, the laning stage, sure, that DC got something out of it as well, but as soon as it comes out of that, LFY are just making the superior movements, and then they're never messing around. You know, it's always clear what the next objective is for them.
Exactly. And something I want to point out on top of that is, you notice how they use the Aegis. They immediately use it to take objectives. On top of that, they don't just 5-man immediately, they split up. They show this Ursa with Aegis mid, so they're thinking to themselves, okay, we can't fight it. The rest of his team is likely behind it. While that's happening, the DK and the Nyx are setting up on the opposite side, killing Abed. By the time they realize that's happening, this Ursa's already taken this mid tower to half. We noticed at bottom when Afu was dying, again, the DK was accomplishing something on the map. There's always something happening for their team. Nobody's just farming quite aimlessly, and with all but one tier 1 tower or tier 2 tower down in the game, they've got so much map control. They're just going to wait for the next Aegis. They can make the same play and then go high ground.
TC themselves really feels like they need to get these key items. Bulba is closing in on the Blink Dagger. Hasn't quite got it. Getting the Sand King Blink. Getting the Mason BKB. That could be when things start to turn. Abed nearly has the Yule Scepter, which is, it's going to help him a little bit, but at the same time, we've seen, you know, if they can get the jump on him with the Vendetta, they've got so much control between the chain stuns.
Oh, that courier almost died. Something I want to point out, by the way, if you look at the map, everyone on LFI for the most part, they're near enough, but they are split up in farming. And if you take a look at DC, they're so afraid right now. They are 4-manning down here. Forev even making his way down here, so they're all just sharing this one area of creeps. Nobody's even farming neutrals anymore because they're almost certain that Afu might be there, and this is the power of Nyx Assassin. This is why he's got something like an 80% win rate. Been picked over 20 times. Shout out to Nahaz.
Here we have it. They are going to try and utilize the fact that they're kind of forced to group together. They'll go for a smoke play.
If you got a 5-man, you might as well make something happen out of it, but they're so late to this. Look at this. LFY already sense something's coming. They're going to group up themselves, take the high ground on top of the shrine.
Diffusal's done on Monet. That war cry ain't going to do anything
Who's DC
anymore.
going to run into first?
Are they going to commit? Bulba indeed sees the chance. They're going to jump forward with Forev, holding onto the Black Hole now. He pops. Oh, he whiffs! Doesn't catch anybody in it. Sonic Wave flies out, only gets onto Arfu.
DC
And now the turnaround comes. Dubu's down. Bulba as well in a lot of trouble. He's gone. Mason on the retreat, but look, Super trying to chase it down. The blink out just in time. Mason, can they catch him? I think he should be safe.
Oh, that is...
War Cry and blink up again in a couple of seconds because Super closed this gap. It's going to be close. He's fine. Mason will get out, but yeah, that's...
There's no black hole?
You said it yourself, Will. You've not been too impressed by some of Ferrez's black holes, and he's yet to hit a big one this game.
Oh, they're going to chase him down.
Straight in.
One's done. Here's the second.
Oh, can they punish this DC? I don't know if they can. Arbe getting caught out, brought down. Double kill for Monet. LFY, dude, these guys are good at Dota 2.
They are so good at Dota 2, and they play completely objective-based style.
Yeah.
If you look at the score, it's 14-8, despite the fact they just picked up 3 kills right there. So it was much closer than that half a second ago, but despite that, that's a 10k lead. There's a difference of 6 kills, 10k lead. It's all going to come down to that tower and objective gold. They've done such a good job of splitting the map at the same time. During this time, everyone, it feels like they're doing everything at once. They're farming neutrals, they're farming the lanes, they're near each other at all times, they're ready for the 5-man. LFY, they were completely prepared for that smoke. And look at the timing of Afu at the same time. You notice when he got stunned on from Fog, he still manages to get his spiked carapace off. Something that we didn't quite point out. But that's what made it difficult for DC, because Forev was in there. He saw the spiked carapace, he's like, I can't hold this.
Yeah. It's so hard for him to actually get the black hole, so... Even though we are calling out them being whiffed, it's, you know, you've got to give respect to the fact that LFY, just with their draft and play, are making it so hard for this Enigma to get it done.
They saw the splat. They saw the smoke with the Hawk in the corner up here. They know they're going around. Afu, he's going to spot this.
There's the jump in, and that's going to be one down. Bulba's gone. They'll look for more. Turn towards Mason. The Fury Swipe stack up. That's the Sven out of this. Bulba, he's actually going to buy back, so this Blink Dagger timing is going to really be put on hold. And he can't do anything with it either. It's going to be a buyback and retreat as DC just have to get themselves back to base.
Oh, look at
Super's moving in. He wants to go for more. Dragon Tail onto Forev. There's the Familiar still locked down. Bulba can hold them back. Gets the 3-man Burrow Strike into the global. Where's the follow-up? There's still no black hole. It's down for 40 seconds. The Sonic Wave comes through, but it's nowhere near enough damage at this point. I mean, they will send LFY back for now. Don't lose anything more than Mason, but it really is DC struggling with the power of LFY at this stage of the game.
And look at how LFY has decided to itemize. Super, this drums in a Shadow Blade build for his damage and survivability. On top of that, his next item, immediately the Heaven's Halberd. Yeah. We talked about how good evasion was going to be against DC's lineup. The Halberd is probably the best item that you can build against this Sven. Even if he gets the BKB off, if you catch him with the Halberd first, you're going to waste half of his BKB duration to begin with. And DC, they probably have one more attempt at this. We call the second Aegis the high ground Aegis. It's probably going to be their best opportunity to defend. But LFY, they're on the hunt. They kill Forev. That would allow them to do it.
He really needs that BKB.
Oh, desperately so.
Oh,
there's so many different ways they can cancel this hole.
And Inflame now has an Axe. So that Roar going to be ever frequently a threat.
What was the cooldown? 45 seconds? Look at the cast range. It's almost the entire screen. It's very hard to mess that up.
And you can guarantee this, man, especially when he sees the BKB comes out. He is just going to be saving that for that Enigma.
Even the BKB isn't quite enough.
Yeah.
Although the global silence, they need to hit things in conjunction.
Yeah, the global silence, yeah, there's still not the answer.
Oh, super, they're not going to find anyone. Briefer P for Team DC.
I'm going to head forward with Arbed. Afu and Monet, you know, they'll go in on this, Afu, but it is all spotted out.
It's 3 on 5, and DC are still afraid to take this engagement.
Oh, now they jump in though, but Monet immediately on the sidelines getting Mason down to 3rd health. Mason's gone up, it jumps forward, but Bulba's held back by the stun. Monet just turns to him as well, picks up the double kill. They just can't fight here, DC.
It's a 3v5, and they still can't do anything about it. DC still have to watch their one position go down. They get a little bit too over-aggressive, thinking that there's no way that LFY is going to hang around the area, but LFY with this opening, going to go for the high ground. Look at the jump!
Woo! Dubu is down. Monet just jumps in and takes him. Goes back towards the tier 3. This is going to be LFY cleaning up at least the mid lane racks.
Zero respect gaming. They're just diving tier 3s. They don't care anymore.
How do you beat these guys? I thought Bulba would have the answer. Maybe he does, because, well, you know what's more impressive than beating a team that's on a 12-game win streak?
At TI, in one of the hardest groups that we've seen in quite some time. What's up?
It's beating a team that's on a 13-game win streak. Bulba is padding the stats.
Alright, Mason's gonna go in.
He's got a couple. They have brought down the Nyx Assassin, but Monet's on the sidelines. He's taking that one.
Cheese.
There's the Roar coming through. Super heals himself back up to full health, and G is cool. All part of Bulba's plan, though. Game 2, that's when it's going to happen.
You're unbelievable, Owen. You're something else. Oh,
23-9, 23 goal lead, 26 minutes in. Not a chance for DC here in this game 1. Not a chance at all. I mean, if you're DC, I feel like what do you ban against LFY? I mean, they seem to have done their best efforts this game round, but this lineup that LFY had, you got to kind of understand, with the enemy team even banning anything, it feels like LFY just turned up with exactly what they wanted to do, and DC didn't have an answer.
Yeah, I think DC was really confident in this mid matchup. This Queen of Pain versus this DK, but it went so heavily in Super's favor. Can't understate that at all. That
This
1v1
DK
matchup was really one-sided. On top of that dive, the mid dive.
Yes. Yeah, they dove like that and it was like, hey, what's going on? And then they recover. That really was not a loss at all for them, and that's why. Wow, there we have it. Game 1's done, 26 minutes in, very speedy, very quick. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what happens in Return of the Bulba. Game 2 coming up round the corner.